Zuck the cuck drinks water like a duck, but he also drinks your data. So tell him and Google to shove your data up their schwing-schwangs by downloading the Brave browser. It's free, blocks online advertising, and protects your privacy and data from evil tech companies. You only see ads if you want to see them, and you get cryptocurrency for your attention. Don't let Zuck use you to make a buck. Download Brave by clicking on the link down below.
Jeff writes, I have a very simple question. You mentioned once in a video men and women should find themselves. Not at 44 smoking weed and surfing on Venice Beach and trying to find myself, man, but much sooner. Well, that'd be boomers. How would you describe it to younger men and boys? How do you go about doing that? How do you know the right way to find yourself? Video response. This is actually kind of an important question because what you will find, both men and women, you are programmed. Starting, I'd even say before kindergarten, but definitely through school and by media and by your parents and by everyone, you are programmed to do more or less what they want you to do. Now, they'll make it seem like there's some options. Well, follow your heart and the money will follow. That's basically them being lazy fucks and not saying, well, hey, look and evaluate and figure this stuff out. And so you are at least conditioned to have your life determined for you up until about the age of 25, assuming you don't go and get a master's degree. Because at the age of 25, you will then have 3 years out of the echo chamber of college, and you'll finally realize, oh shit, I was lied to. My degree is worthless. I never sat down and asked myself what I wanted, and I no longer know what the point and purpose and meaning in life is, let alone mine. And then you go through the wandering through the desert phase, as I like to call it. And a lot of people will retool, go back to college, get a certain... Some will become tradesmen, some will go in the military. But if you can do the wandering in the desert beforehand, you'll save yourself at least a decade of time, not fucking around in college, not majoring stupid shit, with a game plan where that time is invested in helping you achieve your life goals while you do go to college from 18 to 22 or trade school or whatever. Rather than having to hit the reset button at 25, now fuck, you're looking at 35, 40 before you're finally starting to make some progress in your life. So the sooner you can wander the desert and figure out what you want to do in life and find yourself, the better. Now, for men, how it's done traditionally is the real world. You graduate from college or you graduate from high school and you go into the real world and you find out all the bullshit that you were told is a complete lie. So you have to figure out, and with the help of the internet, this is much more possible, much more expeditious now, that you were lied to. You have to deprogram yourself and reprogram yourself back into the real world. Because men, I think deep down inside on a genetic level or whatever, we want to make progress, we want to make something of ourselves, we want to have a goal, we want to be the hero, we want to do something with our life that we can point to and say, hey, look at that, I'm a cool guy. Which is cool, because that's how society was made. And you find yourself through just the school of hard knocks and the real life. That's it. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to borrow money for your stupid, dumbass sports car you can't afford. You go, oh my God, that was stupid. You'll chase after girls. You'll realize going to nightclubs is stupid. You'll date them and realize by the age of like 30, 35, sometimes never, though, unfortunately for a lot, that they're not all that, and that they're not... You learn through trial and error. So that by the time, the Jews, they call them mensch, like you can't vote until you're 30, I think, according to Jewish law. You become a man at 30, not 18 or 21. Although if you join the military and you go to war, you quickly become a man. But you don't... Basically, what it means to become a man and find yourself is that you know exactly what the real world is. You've given up your pie-in-the-sky dreams of whatever bullshit. You know what women want. You know you got to go. You know that in order to find yourself and be what you want to be requires adhering to the real world and what the real world demands of you, and how to manipulate the real world's desires and demands of you to profit from it so that then you can go do what you want. And then that's where hobbies take over. It's not entirely untrue. There's an seed of truth to it, but Elkins was saying that he thinks that men have much more interesting and varied hobbies than women. I think that's the ultimate culmination of the self-actualization of a man's life, is where you've busted your ass off, you've gone through the lies and the propaganda, you've reprogrammed yourself in reality, the decisions you make are now more effective, and you're making money in reality. You find, if you're entrepreneurial and clever, you can get society to even work for you and start throwing you money. You become established as a man. And then when food, clothing, and shelter is all taken care of, then you ask, what do I want to do? And then you become an old fart like Cappy. Oh, I want to ride motorcycles. I want to go hunt. I want to go look for fossils. I want to go. My buddy Lloyd, he's a charcutier. You become a painter. Whatever. You are the Japanese samurai cutting his bonsai tree, waiting for his next adversary that's worthy of him. You read books. You get into philosophy. You get into literature. You get into woodworking. You become a mechanic. You restore old cars. That's where I think men truly start to bloom, because you finally have the time and the money. Not a lot of money, but you have the time to afford these things. And I think that's how men find themselves. Because you just got to survive first. The journey makes you the path of the man, or whatever you want to call it. And then you're like, oh, that's the meaning of life. You can accelerate it, though. Like I said, we really would save trillions, literally trillions of dollars, and trillions of human years over the decades of young people if we can get men and women to realize just what a scam and a time sink, a waste of time, higher education is, unless you go into a legitimate field. Because what you're doing is you're delaying. You're living in a delusional world that is not based in reality, where you're majoring in English. I'm going to become a poet. It's always been my dream. Why can't I find the girls? I'm sensitive and native, caring kind of guy. Why can't I find the girls? And if we can learn that, then fathers used to do this role. We'd tell you what you should and should not do. So when you're 18, you weren't a complete dipshit. But now we have complete dipshits, raised by single moms, absentee fathers, or fathers who are present in a nuclear family, but they're pussies and cocks.
Well, what does your mother say, son? I'll go with what she says.
So you go live that lie. If we can avoid you boys and girls living that lie, and you, at the age of 18, were raised in reality, you were raised not to follow your heart and the money, you were raised to view reality for what it is. How do I not only live in reality, but like Neo in the Matrix, use reality to bend to my will? You will achieve this epiphany and find yourself probably before 30. Especially if you have to go through some kind of hardship or trial or tribulation. War, even a stint in the military without going to war. In my case, it was starvation and poverty and cold that did to me when I went to college. Even just the path of supporting yourself, like if your parents don't support you and you got to sink or swim, that's another path to get you'll get in touch with reality really quick that way. So that's how you can find yourself for the men. Ladies, it's pointless. There's too much propaganda, too much money, too much investment, too much infrastructure that is dependent upon women and young women being lied to and never finding themselves. Or they falsely, oh, you can find yourself taking this very expensive trip that we sell. And read this book and Eat, Pray, Love and all that. Yeah, buy. The key to finding yourself is consumption, and you go. There's too much money invested in that to have women take the hero's path or the hero's journey like that. But that's how men do it, is you just simply live through reality. The only benefit to help out people listening is to point out to young men and women that right now you are almost guaranteed to waste a decade of your time wandering in the desert if you follow the completely wrong and lying advice of boomers, professors, teachers, guidance counselors, and big education and media, predominantly leftist politicians. But it's predominantly the leftist politicians that are wasting this decade misinforming you about what's important in life and how to go about living life and selling you the lie that you could just do what you want and the money will follow. It is not true. If you can avoid that, that's the progress we can make for every man and woman who's open-minded enough to listen. And then you'll find yourself sooner. And then a higher percentage, like if you find yourself at 25, dude, that's like 50 years of your life, 75 years average life expectancy for a guy. That's 50 years of your life. That is, you get to enjoy it, doing your hobbies, pursuing, knowing, just the fact you know what to do. The sanity, the serenity, the calm that comes with that is great. And that's at least an extra decade compared to the other guy who follows his heart, the money will fall. Maybe finally gets under it, but by that time he's a 35-year-old schlep who's married to probably an unloving wife who's more concerned about her career than the husband or her children. Is on the verge of divorce. The lady's fat, and he's stuck. So he may even have found himself, but it's too late. He's not mobile anymore. He's got huge liabilities and responsibilities that anchor him down. So it's not until the children are done and out and his alimony's over, and so he could be damn well 55. So he's only got 20 years left. So what do you want? Do you want 50 or 20 years? Where you know exactly what you want. All right, so that's what I recommend. And it's not like you have a choice. You are going to be forced into the real world one way or another. It's just you want to be forced in there early to have this epiphany, middle age, or never, in which case you're never going to find it and you're miserable. And you see that with people who are lost until they're dead. And usually they have no colleagues or compatriots or anything like that. So there you go. Questions, answers, links down below at assholeconsulting.com. Check out some of those books too, and check out the podcast. Links down below. Check them out. See you guys later. Toodles.